It's Friday, and we're here, and you are here, and what more do we need? Oh, yeah, Kyle Woodman, he's going to be here, too. So we got a bunch of stuff to get to today as the show gets started. Thank you so much for making this a part of your kickoff to Easter weekend. We thank you wherever you're watching, Facebook Live, YouTube, on Twitch as well. Nothing but thanks. It's been a crazy week. We have so much to get to today, and we will get to all of it because that's how we roll. Big thanks again out to Ready Waves, my friends Joey and Blake from Devour the Day and Egypt Central, making that killer intro. That's what they do. ReadyWaves.com is going to be live here for the public. If you are a streamer, definitely a place you want to jump on. So make sure you check it out. Royalty-free, license-free music for you to enjoy and use on your stream, and then they won't shut you down. However, what did we learn this week? Here's what we learned this week. Perhaps it's not the music that will get your show shut down. We learned that with Vano on Thursday, didn't we? Facebook, boom, shut us down halfway through the interview. Still there, though. Still on YouTube, still on Twitch, so they haven't gotten to us yet. So what I'm saying is, and we've talked about this since the show started, at some point they could take us off of the platforms. They could shut it down. What we're working on in the back end is creating our own hub to have our own content exclusively available to you. And where that starts is with our Patreon, which you can join with the link in the comments that we just posted right there. See him? Please join the Patreon. We are, we're going to build that network behind the scenes so that eventually when they do what Facebook did to us this week and shut the show down, we have a place to go with the stream. So join the Patreon, support the show, exclusive content. We got a bunch of cool contests coming up as well with Monster Energy and with my friends at Everything Hemp LLC. So get on board. Get on board now. Ready for that weekend. A busy weekend. That leads into a busy week next week. Nobody likes to fast forward through the weekend. I get it. We want to enjoy Friday night, do the fish fry thing, have a couple of Leinenkugels. But next week's a big week. We got elections happening on Tuesday. And Vano and I talked about this. Jonathan Wickman and I talked about this. Kyle Woodman and I talked about this too. The importance of every single time that there's an election to get out and to vote. And we got to do it. Got to do it. It's coming up on Tuesday. I say his name so many times, he shows up in the green room. Kyle Woodman is back. This time the computer works. Life is good. And it's good to see you, my friend.
Hey, how's it going, man? You are full of energy right now. You are excited.
I it's been a crazy week. I know I had Derek Van Orden on the show earlier this week. And it was the craziest thing. And I don't want to say I predicted it was going to happen, but I knew eventually with my rhetoric, the things that I talk about, the truths that I speak, this is all part of a free speech revolution thing that we're trying to start here. I knew at some point with some guest or with just me going off the hinges at some point, one of the platforms that we stream on would be like, ooh, hit the stop button. And they did that on Facebook on when I had Vano on. They shut it down. It was the wildest thing. I'm like, we're just having a conversation with a retired Navy SEAL senior chief about his life and his venture into politics and in movies and books and his message. And it was just wild. So it's continued to rile me up the more I've had a chance to think about it. So we're working on a bunch of stuff on the back end to keep this platform open on any means necessary kind of thing. Because everybody deserves to have that kind of platform to speak and to speak their truth. And that's, when you're trying to do that against big tech, it gets to be a little iffy.
Yeah. So something interesting. I'm sure if you looked, I've got quite a following on Facebook, around 18,000 followers, I think. And a lot of them are in the state of Wisconsin. A few of them are nationwide, all over. And when I started running for city council, well, actually, I should say it was shortly after I think it was the January 6th situation. Hopefully that's not a trigger word. I don't want to drop this video feed too again. Whoa.
The robots are going to revolt. The revolt has started.
Anyways, I noticed, and you can even look at my Facebook, my public figure page, that if I made a post, I could get maybe 300 likes, maybe even 900 at times. And then I'd make a post around that time when Donald Trump got censored, and I would get like 3 likes, So I did notice that I think I was for sure shadow banned.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't banned or anything. I didn't violate anything. I mean, I never got a notification from Facebook, but I did definitely notice a difference during that era that I had been shadow banned.
Yeah, the suppression of information is a little, and you and I have talked about this, and a lot of the guests I've had on talked about this, about the ability to have this free and open forum, whether it's live streaming on the platforms that we stream on, whether it's Twitter, whether it's wherever you're doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you start to take away people's voices, you don't really silence them. I mean, your exposure doesn't get out. Obviously, if you're trying to grow an audience, or you're trying to grow, get your message across, it does affect that. Mm-hmm. But it does what it's done to me, and I'm sure what it did to you when you see these things happening. You go, well, wait a minute. Like, I see really bad shows like this being done, and all this gravitational pull towards them. I'm like this. And again, everybody should have a right to speak. Some people just shouldn't. And so I get a little like, wait a minute, we're trying to do great things here. We're talking to, from politicians to musicians to doctors to lawyers to guys that we had Sean Whalen on a couple weeks ago, which was huge to have a guy like him on talking about, his point of view and small business ownership. And I'm like, why do the powers that be have turned into the big tech companies who own our means and ways of communication? And we saw what happened to Parler.
Yeah.
And it's strange because now you have a guy like Zuckerberg, which this will get flagged, I'm sure, for me saying that name. But you have him going, well, we know that Facebook also maybe could have sort of had some people that were talking about the same things that were happening on this platform. There's a major glaring difference there. The fact that Facebook is still alive and well, and you basically had a whole social media world that was pulled off the App Store. Their servers were cut by Amazon, web services. All these things happened, and you're like, well, if we're fair and balanced here, I have a couple of questions about how that is a blatant lie. It's crazy that that the control is not with the people anymore. It seems like it's with the big tech.
Right, and I'm not sure if anyone's idea is so bad that you have to censor it. I kind of like the idea of course, in a perfect world, where anyone would be able to voice their opinion. And hey, if it's that bad of an idea, we can all just agree together. Hey, that's a real bad idea, But I'm not sure if any idea is so bad that you have to completely shut that person down. I think that free speech, and I mean, that's just a huge fundamental thing that makes us better overall, is because we can recognize, hey, a bad idea, we've got a good idea, or this went the wrong way, this went the right way, this benefited everyone, this didn't. But when you start shutting people's voices down, that's when a huge question mark is above my head, because I mean, it almost draws more attention to the person being censored, interestingly enough. But if they're successful, they will completely shut someone down, and then it'll work. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but
yeah, and it's a crazy, the cancel culture thing that's going on. And I watched, what did I watch? No Safe Spaces is a documentary that was on. Have you seen it? Have you seen No Safe Spaces before?
No, I haven't. It sounds like something I need to watch. No Safe Spaces.
Yeah, you do.
Sounds like no space is safe.
Yeah, it really. So it's Adam Carolla, and then the guy from PragerU, Dennis Prager, is on it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Talking about a lot of cancel culture stuff, and about the plot there. This whole reason that they started this was that they were trying to do. They were invited to speak at a university, and because Dennis Prager happened to be there, and obviously he's got his opinion on things, and there were some people in the university who didn't like it. They ended up canceling that speech that at the university, and they talked about the Ann Coulter thing that happened a couple of years ago, and a bunch of different instances where you've had people that Ben Shapiro that was on, and they ended up hiring like $600,000 worth of security for his speech, and he's like, I don't really understand what's going on here. But the premise crazy. Of it was
so tolerant,
and they showed, and there was a weird thing that was going on, is that nobody wanted to have a conversation. One side wanted to just say their logic, and when the other side tried to rebut and say, okay, I understand what you're saying, but here, let me tell you my point. One side was like, I don't care. I don't.
There has to be.
Yeah, you can have it. It's all one-sided. Nobody wants to have the conversation. They just want to say, well, here's the word, and you don't get to reply. You don't get to give me an answer for why you feel this way, why you think this way, why you believe this way. It's just how I feel, and how I feel trumps everything. And you're like,
the authority, and that's what it's come down to. I mean, our country's been here for what, 240 years, and I mean, it's almost like we're getting back to kings and queens and knights, and it's like they are the authority. What they say goes, and we are not allowed to speak. We're not allowed to have an opinion, and it's corporate power and money, and something that we're going to have to figure out as a country, one way or another. So and say vote with your dollars. That's a good way.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Amazon fan. I think I've only bought like one thing off of Amazon. Zuckerberg, however, has gotten quite a bit of my money, but not much this election. Not so much during this election. So
yeah, it's wild, and you have there's so much opportunity out there to reach a vast audience, and obviously you can pour money into to social media to get your stuff seen and acknowledged, and ignite some conversation. If you're a small business owner like myself, try to get your word out there. You can do those kind of things, but it's a weird beast that you're feeding when you take a step back and say, wow, the power and control that they have over what is seen and what isn't seen, what gets shut off, what gets shadow banned. I get it, especially on a place like Twitter where it's an independent company, they're their own business, they have their own rules, whatever. But you've created this platform that is a speaking platform for everybody to be a part of. You created it this way, and this is how it is. And only to come in and really blatantly lean one direction on the people that you censor, on the things that they say, is
they've made the decision to do that, and it's like, I mean, like I said, it's up to us to vote with our money and with what we do. We all have choices. A lot of people are leaving Facebook, but I mean, Facebook's made the decision to do what they're doing, and they've taken the position of a publisher, and they're assuming responsibility for the stuff that's on their platform. So, I mean, it'd be nice if they could redesign their model to where they are not a publisher, they are a public space. But I don't know. They have their decisions to make, and I think there's a lot of space for other social media companies to start, and it's kind of a mess right now. But I mean, I think it'll all come out in the wash in the end. I'm pretty sure Facebook's probably lost a little bit of money over the last 6 months. So I know a lot of people are upset. So
yeah, and it takes a lot, especially if you realize that the platform does have power. It's got 3 billion users on it. There's a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on it. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get to a point where you're like, I just morally can't do this anymore. I have to, you understand the loss when you take things out of there, but you also understand the loss if you continue to be like, okay, well, I can do this, but I have to say certain things or not say certain things. I have to, really be on par with what they're on.
It's interesting that you started right in on the whole Facebook thing, because, with my city council race, I really haven't done a whole lot on Facebook. I've been pretty quiet on Facebook, and, I've just really been out just talking to people in town. I've been knocking on doors. I've been hanging up door hangers, sending out mailers, making phone calls, and just doing things the old-fashioned way. And I know Facebook wasn't even allowing political ads until I think it was like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. So I didn't even have the ability to run an ad anyways. So that, I mean, between not being able to run any ads and plus my main page being shadow banned, I basically just like, whatever. I guess I don't really need Facebook anyway for this one. So, however, they did lift the ban on political ads, and so I have run a couple of ads, spent a couple $100. But maybe I'll run one more. But I mean, it was kind of interesting, because I used to be a big social media guy, and I was really into it. But once I realized that, hey, at a click of a button, they can just shut you down. I was like, man, we gotta network in some different ways. So I've really been putting the work in with this campaign, and haven't really used Facebook. Even been criticized for it.
Well, of course.
Well, you haven't really said anything. You haven't really. It's like, well, yeah, I have, just not on Facebook. I mean, Facebook is not real. It's not. It's not reality. We're in real life here.
This is real, tangible stuff. See, fingers, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and all that stuff. But election's coming up on Tuesday. Obviously, there's been, and even in the last week, this week in particular, there's been a lot of developments with the state Supreme Court, obviously overturning the emergency order and the mask mandate in the state.
Yes.
The Eau Claire City came forward moments afterwards. It felt like it was a very short period of time between the overturn and when the city came out with a post about the county still enforcing the mask mandate. And I'm a county north of you, and it's like the Wild West up here, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Up in Chippewa, I went to Walgreens today, and I was like, they took the signs down. It was crazy. It's wild. And to think that
freedom.
And you and I had this conversation the first time. Yeah, I know. Like, it was great. You and I had the conversation last time you were on. It feels like, and the first time I met Kyle, we were outside of the courthouse when they were talking about the mask mandate and the legalities of it and enforcing it and a bunch of other items that were on the agenda. And it felt like at that point that we first spoke, I'm like, it feels like there's nobody inside. And again, they weren't really inside. They were all on Zoom calls somewhere, but the people that are on the council, everybody's like, it's like a group of buddies that all agree on the same thing. Like we're all Packer fans, we're all like, rah, rah, rah. Nobody was in there going, hey, there's other teams to be on. There was no other voice in there that was being the voice of the actual physical people that were outside.
Right.
And it feels like that is obviously continued up. This week has been an example of that. But what has it been like for you as somebody who wants to be that voice of the people that's out there, who is going out and doing it the right way, in the old school way of talking to people, getting their opinions, knocking on doors, making phone calls? What is this trek been like for you to lead up to what's coming up on Tuesday?
Well, I will say this. I guess I'll be honest with you 100%. The mask mandate thing, has not necessarily been as hot of a topic as maybe you would expect when actually talking to people. I would say probably 65% of the people are against the mandate, which is pretty much what it was when they voted for it that Monday that we met, or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, so when I do talk to people, I mean, it's either they're for it or they're against it. I would like to represent everyone, and I say I am not anti-mask. If you want to wear 7 masks, great, go ahead. But you don't have to tell me to wear a mask. I think that.
Right.
I say, hey, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Take your own health into your own hands. Your health is your responsibility. So if you feel you're at risk going out and there's people not wearing masks like me, then stay away from it. Take care of your own responsibilities and your own health. So I mean, I've just been kind of neither here nor there on it, and I haven't really received too much criticism for it. I think people just. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, the mask mandate is the thing that we all see, right, with our eyes, and it's kind of the hot topic right now. But, I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is just too much overreach, too much government overreach into our personal lives whether it's a mask mandate or shutting businesses down or the vaccine is a big topic now, and just, whatever, whatever the topic would be at the time, or Second Amendment, everyone's like, oh, Second Amendment. Well, it's one thing after another. And I think it's not necessarily one particular issue or another. I think it's just one big problem. And that is the government and our local government reaching their fingers into every little aspect of our private lives. And it's just getting ridiculous. It's just getting out of hand, and that's why I take the stance that I take on the mask mandate. It's, I understand there's health people, there is a health risk out there, but I think smaller government and less government overreach is the answer. And so I'll make that decision every time. I'm just not a big government guy. Sorry.
No, I get it. I get it. And it's, and I think that's where a lot of confusion lies with people, is when you say that, you're happy that they, overturned the mask mandate. It doesn't mean that you don't, if my neighbor wants to wear a mask, that's the point. The point of it is that you're free to do what it is that you want to do, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel
exactly happy. I don't know if it's really about the mask. I don't think it is. When it comes down to it, talking to people, it never really is about the mask. It's about personal freedoms. That's why I have the sign, individual freedoms, right. Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, whether it's firearms, whether it's the mask or the vaccine or being able to go to church on Sunday. It's like, yeah, we need to be free to live our lives. If that means assuming some risk, hey, if I want to assume some risk and go to church, just let me do it. It's like, right. My word.
Yeah.
So that's what it's been. That's what I've been hearing, and that's the position I'd be willing to take. And I guess everyone's asking now that the state one has been, not shut down or whatever, and the city of Eau Claire one is now in effect. Everyone's wondering, what are we going to do? What can we do? Well, it's going to be in effect until June 30th, and I did get into a conversation with someone on Facebook, the irony about it. Cool. And my comment was, they said, can a city even do this? Can a city even pass this mask ordinance? And can they do this? Well, the answer is, I think a city can pass any ordinance that they want. They can pass an ordinance saying you have to wear pink pajamas on Tuesdays. I mean, I think that would be an infringement on my personal freedoms. I don't know if I'm really into wearing pink pajamas, but
not on Tuesday. That's more of a Friday.
Maybe
that's more of a Friday night thing.
You don't want to hang out with me on a Friday night. I'm wearing pink pajama pants right now, actually. Just kidding.
I know. So that's the great thing about being on video.
I'm wearing jeans. Okay, so anyway, we'll talk later about it. Okay, so anyways, so they can pass any ordinance that they want, and then it would be up to a citizen, like you or me, to challenge that if we believed it was unconstitutional, and it'd probably end up eventually going to, whatever court it needs to go to. But that's why we have city councils. That's why we have local government, is because, what's good for us may not be good for Augusta, or Fall Creek or whatever, so it's like, it's pretty simple in my opinion. The city council can vote to have $500 parking tickets downtown. They can vote to have whatever, and that's why it's just so important to have people representing you that are not going to be voting for things that you don't like. So I mean, people are waking up about how important the local government is. City council, school board, county board. They're the ones voting in a lot of the stuff that people don't like. The wheel tax, the mask mandates, mask ordinance, shutdowns, there's all sorts of stuff. And it's people want to point fingers at state governments or federal governments, but a lot of what really affects us the most is the people right next to us, right here, me and you. So.
Yeah. and that's been brought up a lot. It was brought up with Vano, it was brought up with Wickman when I had him on. We talked about it too. It's not every 4 years I need to make my voice heard because that's when change happens. It's every time there's an election, do your research on your candidate, find out what they stand for and if they align with your beliefs, and then go and vote, because the immediate changes, the things that happen that affect your life on a day-to-day basis. Now there's some long-term stuff obviously that happens at a federal level, and
Sure,
it could affect people that in your family that live somewhere else or involved in different things. But when it comes to your day-to-day everyday life, what taking your kids to school, what school they go to, if they can go to school, if they can't go to school, if they're in for 2 days a week, or they're in for 4 days a week, or in for 5 days a week. Like, all these decisions are made on a much more local level than people like, well, yeah, did you vote? Well, yeah, I voted. Yeah, every 4 years I vote. Like, no, it's more often than that. It's not just in November. It's, you got to pay attention to things. And I think people are so withdrawn, and they get fatigued especially during presidential election years. People get fatigued. They're like, didn't I just do this? And then they wonder why nothing changes, or things change for against the way they believe. And you're like, well, that's because it starts at the city council level. It starts with the school boards. You got to get out and vote and be a part of things. And I'm sure because you've been doing it the way you've been doing it, actually physically talking to people, which is a lost art in the last year, it feels like, because you're not supposed to talk to people. Like, no,
it's pretty scary.
So you talk to them, but you have to be like across the room, and you have to send them a note in a paper airplane. It's weird. The rules are strange. But have you gotten the feeling that people are starting to wake up and realize that it's more important than just voting during a presidential election, and it's more important than voting up and down in a particular column, that this is where it counts, is in elections like Tuesday?
Yeah, I do feel that, and I do feel like I think the wind is in my sails. I think that people are waking up, and I think any incumbent on the city council should really think about any decisions that they're making if they want to get reelected, because I think from what I've been hearing, people are just not happy with everyone just voting in blocks and just pushing through anything and everything that they want. And I actually kind of think that I might get some votes just because I'm not the incumbent. Like, people know me or not. Just to be blunt, like, people are not happy with what happened within the last year, and everything's not the city council's fault with the COVID stuff, but some of it is. So about the voting, I don't know if I'm changing subjects, but you're talking about voting, and in a presidential election in the Eau Claire County, if 100 people vote in the fall, about 36%, so maybe 40% of people vote in the spring. So if 100 people vote in a presidential election, 40 will vote in the spring. So it's kind of interesting because the local is so important. How about sheriff? That's very important. No matter what a president does, and I've talked to people that do not like Donald Trump or his tweets, So, the question is, hey, if you don't like who the president is, and you don't like what he's pushing or tweeting, you better have a good sheriff, because the sheriff is who's you're going to be dealing with. The sheriff is going to be who is enforcing, perhaps what the state or the federal governments are doing. And we did see that recently with the shutdowns and masks and things like that this past year. I know there's a few counties, I think, in Wisconsin that the sheriffs are just like, we are not enforcing that. Do whatever you want, whatever. So I wish that as many people that voted in the presidential election would vote in a spring election, because it's just as important, if not even more important, than who the president is. A tweet can only do so much damage, to your family.
Right.
Taxes, property taxes, who's teaching your children in your schools, the city council and the decisions they're making. very impactful at a local level and personally to us personally. So a lot more than sorry,
Yeah. I mean,
not to
it's
diminish the tweets, but
watch your Twitter. Watch your Twitter,
yeah,
people.
I don't think I've been tweeting a whole lot either for the last. So
it's
Facebook and
good.
Twitter has been pretty quiet on this end for me.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing, but it's when we've obviously touched on the hot button issue. Well, they're the hottest issues right now currently, and people
Focus,
people are like, oh yeah, well, what's happening with shutdowns and what's happening with masks and what's happening with vaccines, all this stuff. But you're not running for city council because there's these 3 things that we need to get taken care of. Like we gotta let people do what they want to do with masks, what they want to do with vaccines. We got to get businesses back up and running at full cap. Like there's more than just that. What would you say outside of those COVID related topics are some of the things that in your talks to people and your conversations with folks in the county are some of the issues that need to be addressed that maybe haven't been addressed that you're going and swinging for?
Well, I will say I guess probably the next thing down the list that a lot of people are concerned about is what happened in Minneapolis and in Kenosha and in Madison. And I've been down there in Madison, and when you're driving around and you see it. When you see it, you see the boarded up businesses and you see the paint on the intersections and on the road, and you see some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
We don't have that here in Eau Claire, but law and order is not necessarily something that we're talking a lot about, but it's something that we all agree on.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't think any of us want to see what happened in Madison and Kenosha or Minneapolis to happen in the city of Eau Claire. We are I think we're better than that. And we have proved that we are better than that this last summer. I will agree there. I know we did have a couple of protests, the George Floyd situation happened. And I know there was I don't know if I want to call it a protest, but it was a gathering at the park down there by the tennis courts, down by the river there in Eau Claire. And, there was no violence. There was no anything crazy going on, which I did not expect there to be.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we are very peaceful around here. But that is a question in the back of a lot of people's minds. And that's why I made upholding law and order in our city one of my main points, although it is more down the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to make that one of my main points because over this past year, that was kind of a worrisome thing. And I fully support our law enforcement. I fully support people that own businesses downtown and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything like what happened this last summer in some of our surrounding cities even comes close to happening here, I would do everything I could to put the hammer down as fast as I could on that. We got to defend our workers. We got to defend our business owners and our people that are, paying taxes and contributing. I mean, it's not about money, but,
right.
I mean, they've invested their lives in this community, and so, yeah, no tolerance for that. But that is something that was a big topic over the last year, right up there with the COVID and the masks and the shutdowns. And it was that, unfortunately. And I, of course, do not like what happened either.
Right.
In Madison, I don't want anything like that to happen here, or not Madison, but in Minneapolis,
right.
The death of George Floyd was horrible.
Yeah. And I think especially when you're in such close proximity and even, be in Eau Claire, excuse me, in the city itself, that having lived there for the majority of my life, I spent some time in Madison. I spent some time in Dunn County over Menominee, and then obviously up here in Chippewa County, but majority of my life has been spent in Eau Claire County. Like Minneapolis is like that place. Like you going to the cities, somebody from out of state, you're going to the cities. They're like, what? Like, no, the cities, like the Twin Cities, like, oh, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
I remember when I was younger, that was like super cool.
I know. Where are we
You know,
going? We're going to Minneapolis. Yes. Then the Mall of America.
One of my friends are like, I was at the cities all day yesterday.
I know. It's a big thing. I know. Like they have a Chick-fil-A and it's a tourist destination. Like, oh, we're going to Chick-fil-A. You're like,
oh wow, that's hilarious.
but it's you have it's always been a thing from it's an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half drive to get over there, and it's got all the things that that a city like Eau Claire doesn't have, and it's this attraction thing. But it's great that you get to come back. You're like, I get to come back, and it's like it's a little less crazy, and like driving in Minneapolis traffic, it's it's white knuckle bullshit.
Right. I feel like Eau Claire is a very homey.
Yeah.
There are people that have been living here for years and years and years and years and years. It's like it's a weird thing. Like people are born here, they do not leave. Like
right?
I mean, they just we stay here. People stay here. That's a thing. And
you have that metropolitan thing that you sometimes need to get your fix on. It's a short drive. It's like, boom, yeah, we're there. We spent the day. We came back. It's so close. And I think that's what, when the things happened in Minneapolis, in St. Paul, people were like, whoa, like that's a place we use in our normal everyday like conversation, like going to the cities for this, or going to Brewers Twins game, and they're going to the US Bank Stadium, see the Packers Vikings. Like it's like so ingrained as like it's Eau Claire, and then we go to Minneapolis and we want to like do crazy stuff.
We do the crazy stuff there that we don't have here, because that stuff that over there that does not keep us safe. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
Basically, people go to the cities to do stuff that we don't do here.
And the weird, and to get on the sidetrack here, it's like when Minnesota was completely shut down, all the bars and restaurants were shut down. All the Minnesotans started coming over and going to Hudson and going to
a lot of people
and La Crosse, and we're like, wait a minute, like, hey.
But I like Eau Claire. I like it being safe.
Yes.
So like over in Minneapolis, you've got like the clubs or whatever. They got all this cool stuff, right?
Chick-fil-A, man.
And Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
And big events and whatever. Yeah. I'm excited about the possibility of having a bigger stadium here.
Yeah.
Much about that. Yeah, definitely in favor of that.
Yeah, that's always been weird. Not weird to me, but we're right on, 20 years in radio and concerts and stuff like that. I'm like, we're right on like a major tour route. Like every band that travels Chicago or, Milwaukee or Chicago or even Green Bay to Minneapolis, like they're driving right past us because they're like, well, there's no place to play over, a couple, a 1,200 cap room so it's cool that we're going to have a venue like that. But to get back to the Minneapolis connection that's what people thought. It was happening so close. And when things started to come out about, well, then they're going to, they're starting to get out into the suburbs a little bit, and it's just going to expand. That's when people got like, wait a minute, like we don't need this kind of stuff happening, even in a bigger community like Eau Claire is. Like we don't want this kind of stuff. So I understand why it's on, in the back of people's minds of we don't need to have a lawlessness of Minneapolis and start throwing out defund the police BS. Like, no, we don't want that stuff here.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in Eau Claire is for defunding the police in any way.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I do not do that either, So, yeah, I mean, of course, we need to have freedom of expression, and if people are mourning any event that took place or they're expressing themselves in whatever way they want, that's awesome. That's America, But I think things kind of got out of hand down in Kenosha and Madison and in Minneapolis, obviously. When you're destroying property and I wasn't there. I wasn't in any of those places, so I can't act like I know everything. You can't really believe every YouTube video and every little thing you hear, but we just don't want that to happen here.
No, I think that's an important thing. It's an important thing to know that's also resonating with the residents, that they're fully aware of what's happening over there, and they sure as hell don't want it coming over here, and they understand how you protect your home, your business, your family. Like that happens with having a strong support system for, the police department, the sheriff's department, and understanding that that's what they're there to do, is to protect your business from going up in flames, from having people throw Molotov cocktails through the front doors of Target. Nobody wants that to happen here. Let's try to keep that at bay. Let it happen over there.
Speaking of businesses going up in flames, I was talking to a firefighter here in Eau Claire, and he says that Station 6 only has 3 people per shift working there.
Wow.
And that's not even enough to run the fire truck. I'm not a fireman. I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the city of Eau Claire and how everything works. If I win, I'm sure I will. I probably will pretty quick. Right. But I was talking to a firefighter, and he said that, when a fire truck goes out, or when you get the call, you get an ambulance that goes out and you get a fire truck that goes out, and it takes 2 or 3 guys just to run a fire truck. So if there's only 3 people or 3, firemen at the station, which is actually right in my side of town where I live, is the station that he was talking about. I can't imagine why that would be. Like, we have so much money flying around in this city. You think we'd be able to hire a fireman to run the fire department, the fire station, So that's something, if I win, I'm definitely going to look into that and ask some questions and try to get to the bottom of why we don't even have the right amount of firemen on staff to run a fire station. That's something I found out, like, just talking to someone, knocking on someone's door, literally, and a fireman came to the door and told me that. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're running for city council. Will you actually listen to me?" Like, I'm not on the city council yet, but listening. I guess, if the takeaway for all that, if you want something to take away from this, is I just want to listen and just be the best that I can and represent the people.
Yeah.
I feel like hasn't been happening in this city, unfortunately.
What a great point with the fire department thing, because and a huge appreciation to anybody who's willing to put their life on the line for not just, I want to say, saving structures, but saving human being saving lives, and but to know that, and people don't, average everyday Joe doesn't think about that. You don't think about the fire department until you need the fire department. And then you ask the question, like, okay, why was there only 2 guys on duty? Well, here's the thing. We decided that it was more important to spend money in this place than it was to actually have enough firemen on duty to protect your home, protect your business, protect your family. That's a great conversation to have brought up directly to you, because people don't think about it. They're like, it's really nice is we got this really pretty new approval for some really pretty buildings downtown, and it's really great. Like, what happens if that place starts on fire? You don't have enough people to put it out. Oh, right. Well, we were too busy worried about this thing instead of that thing.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of things that I just come across and I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even think of that, And, I'll have to give everyone on the city council credit. It's like, I'm sure they do a lot of things and know a lot of things that I have no idea what they're, that they're doing it. So, that's the thing. It's just, you've got to, I feel like we really do need to appreciate anyone that serves in these positions, because you got to realize they're up late at meetings. I have attended back when they were in person. I'd gone to city council meetings and they were there till 11 o'clock at night, and they're having discussions and they're going through budgets, and it's work, it's like, and so I'm not really here to bash everyone currently on the city council. Yeah, we may have some different opinions on some things, for sure. We sure have some different opinions on some things, but I am definitely as respectful as I can be to anyone and everyone that is serving and doing what they do.
Right.
They're doing, I think they're probably doing their best. We just disagree on some things,
I think the important part is there's conversation to be had. That's where great ideas and great plans and great progress happen, is when two sides or two different vantage points can come together and say, here's why I think this, here's why I think this. Okay, what is, and if we combine these two ideas, we combine this, we look at this conversation and I say, oh,
yeah,
that's when things happen. That's when good things happen, is when we work together. And it feels like there just hasn't been open form dialogue. Like, hey, here's one thought process, here's another thought process. Let's look at both of these and see what is going to be most beneficial to the people that we are here to serve.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've been doing this for, I don't know, a few months now, I guess, however long it's been. And I don't think I've actually said a negative thing about Emily Anderson, who I'm running against. I've never said anything negative about Emily Anderson. And I have heard a lot of negative things, however.
There it is. There it is.
I have. But I haven't repeated them.
This is good. That's called integrity. That's integrity right there.
Oh, if I meet her and it's, the setting is okay, I might go up to her and be like, hey, you would not believe what I heard.
I have some questions.
Yep, exactly. She's probably heard a lot of negative stuff about me. I don't care. Whatever. But no, I mean, I'm not, that's not what I'm about, So,
go ahead.
It is what it is. If I win on Tuesday, fine with me. If I lose, it's fine with me.
Right.
I am completely at peace with everything. Completely super chill. If I win, then I win, and I'm ready for that. And if I lose, okay. Right. I'm a firm believer in the Republic, I'll say, and voting. And I think that if people vote for Emily, I'm completely at peace with that.
Right.
I'll just be like, great, awesome. Then you get what you voted for. So on the other hand, I would like to win.
Winning's good. We like winning.
And if I do, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be probably quite dynamic. It's going to be a fun crowd. So, because I do know a few of the people on the council right now. So,
do you feel
lively conversations with a few?
I'm sure there will be plenty of open form dialogue. We'll call it that. Yes. Open form dialogue. Do you feel?
If I win, I'll say this: it'll get more exciting after I win than it is right now. Just trust me.
I like it. Do you feel like? And I'll say, we'll go both avenues. Not accomplishing. The goal of getting into the seat and to be able to have the conversations that the exciting conversations, to add that level of it. Do you still feel a draw to continue to, I would say, fight the good fight, but to go out and to be active and to continue to be involved in the political arena? I'm gonna say, I'll just say that either way, getting on the city council, not getting on the city council, is your draw to public service. Does it continue regardless? Obviously, if you win, it continues. Even if it doesn't, do you still consider yourself like somebody who's going to be making phone calls for others or trying to, to continue to have open conversations with people about things?
Yeah, I will definitely be helping others. A little bit about my history over the last couple of years, so I'm not going to go over that. So,
right.
But I do have, I think, quite a bit of knowledge, when it comes to campaigning and what needs to be done and what it takes. And if I lose, I would consider for sure helping other candidates, whether it's, Derek Van Orden, or whoever's running for governor. I think there's going to be quite a few people running for governor. But even if I lose, I will for sure do whatever I can to help. If I don't win, then I guess people don't want me on the city council, so I'm not going to do that. Go do something else that people want me to do, right? So
I think there's enough call. I feel there's enough call for change, and there's enough call, even if you're not necessarily for for change, or maybe you don't agree with Kyle on every single issue, there's enough call for people going, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, or if you're in the middle, or if you're whatever, libertarian and you're whatever, like there's enough call people going, it just doesn't feel like conversations happening. It doesn't feel like we're all like leaning one way and everybody's like, well, wait a minute. Like, can we at least try to figure out a way to draw this back into the middle where there's conversation happening from both sides and a mutual agreement happens? It feels like there's just one side and one agreement, one path that's being taken. So I feel that there's enough draw out there for people to say, let's get a guy like Kyle in there who's going to be like, hey, let's talk. I have some things to say. I have some ideas. I've talked to the people, and here's where we need to have these conversations. So I feel really confident for you going into Tuesday, and you've done it in a way that's not utilizing the social media platforms as your only way of communication. You've obviously gone out and you've talked to people, you've made calls, you're sending out mailers, you're putting things on people's door. What are the next? And I know it's a busy weekend with the holiday, with Easter coming up on Sunday, but what are the next, couple days leading up to the election look like for you to prepare for Tuesday?
Well, I do have a list of people that I have not spoken to that I do want to talk to on Saturday.
Okay.
And, I know a lot of people have voted already, by the way.
Yeah.
Early, absentee, in-person voting. And I don't believe the people that I have on my list have voted yet. So I'm going to go talk to them. And if they don't know who I am, which I would be surprised if they didn't know who I am. But if they don't know who I am, I'm going to introduce myself and talk to them and just say, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you get out and vote. And I do have people making phone calls. Also, I have had people making phone calls over the last few weeks, 2 weeks, leading up to the election. And I just might send out some texts on Tuesday morning, and just remind a few of my people to get out and vote that are voting in person on Tuesday.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm completely at peace with everything. Earlier, it was kind of more crazy and just trying to get stuff put together and get the timeline right and figure out, when ballots were going out and when I should be knocking on doors and is it too early? Is it too late? You just got to kind of figure out what you're doing. And these last few days before the election, doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done. There's not a whole lot you can do
right
between now and Tuesday. So instead of getting all stressed out about it and lose my mind,
right,
I'm just going to remain at peace, and I'm going to go out and talk to a few more people that I know I haven't reached yet. And then Tuesday, I'm just going to be hanging out and wait for the results to come in Tuesday night, at least. Yeah. And whatever the results are, I will accept that and move forward, So I think I've pretty much done everything that a person could do, especially considering the circumstance of COVID-19 and, the situation that we're in. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And when I have knocked on doors, I've been very cautious. If knocking on the door, step back, and be respectful. And I haven't had any issues.
Yeah.
I can think of. I can't remember having any issues with anyone that I knocked on doors. So, yeah, it's gone very well. I will say that I feel very good about it. I feel very, very confident. But I also know that the city of Eau Claire is very leaning the other way. As a whole, not necessarily my district, but so it's just like I said, man, it's just I wanted to put myself out there and do my best, run the best campaign that I could, which I think I have run the best probably one of the best campaigns that city council races I've ever seen in this city, and just say, hey, here I am. Here's an option. You can take it or leave it. And if they do, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be proud. And if they don't, that's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
I just would have hated to sit at home and not given people the choice to choose for someone that was leaning more conservative,
Mhm.
to get on the city council. There's 2 districts that there's only the incumbents running, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about winning or lose. I mean, it is about winning. Like, I like winning,
Yeah.
you know,
Most people do.
but honestly, the spirit that I had, like, and the attitude that I have right now is just, hey, I just want to give people a choice.
Right.
And if they don't choose it, I'm not going to be offended. I mean, it's just, I just wanted to do my best. I just wanted to put myself out there, run the best campaign that I could, and give people the choice. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Perfect. If people are looking to finalize things, they want to know more about you, do you have a website set up? People can go and get more information. Obviously, you have a Facebook page, but you're not like hanging out there very often these days.
True. We got this in action on Facebook. So just go to kylewoodman.com.
Mm.
KYLE Woodman.com. So super simple. It's just my name.com. And you can email me at kyle@kylewoodman.com. Super simple. So
well, best of luck to you. I know you got as much as everybody's like, oh, it's the weekend, we can relax. I know you got a lot of work to do. You got Easter coming up on Sunday.
I will be knocking on doors on Saturday. So
perfect, man. And then Monday, the last day before, and people get out and vote. I mean, that's the kind of the crux of what we've been talking about. We're gonna have Vano back on Monday to do kind of a final push for you and for a bunch of others that are
really awesome
getting out and doing things on Tuesday or on a ballot on Tuesday. So we'll have him back on to talk about stuff. But the importance of getting out in a spring election to vote and understanding that this is where the decisions that affect your life the most are made, happen at a local level, and getting out and being involved with it. That's the most important thing. So hearing that number, that it's 30 to 40% that show up after, if 100 people show up on a November election for a president, that the numbers are so low. I get fatigue, but people need to understand what we just said. That's stuff that affects your daily life. This is when it happens. It happens at a local level. You worry about the presidential election because it's all you see on TV and it's all over the place and they come to town, but this is where the change happens. And I'm pulling for you, man. I got you back, Kyle. I got you back, brother.
Yeah, I really appreciate you inviting me back on. Actually, that I wasn't expecting that so soon, but
no, like I said, after it was in the back of my mind, and the schedule's kind of getting filled up, with people wanting to be on the show as it's growing. In this our 2 months, I think we've been on now, doing this every single day. But really, after talking to Derek Van Orden and the Facebook shutdown thing, really just and talking to my girlfriend about stuff, and I'm just like, what's Kyle doing on Friday? I'm gonna call him up. I'm gonna see what let's get on and get him on here and get some words out and
find all these radical people and get them on your show quick.
Oh yeah. When I think radical, you're the first person that comes to my mind. No, you're not. You're not even on the list. I was like, but what can we do to help get people informed and remind them? Because people's lives are, they're like, what? Oh, that was today. Like, remind them on a steady basis, like, hey, I know you got stuff going. I know you're looking forward to having some ham this weekend. I mean, I am. I'm like,
and normally they have like a forum, by the way, like the Chamber of Commerce, the City Chamber of Commerce will have a forum and stuff like that. And so if people wanted to, they could see me and meet me and hear me talk, and and normally, honestly, once people meet me, they're like, wow, this seems like a pretty cool guy,
I like him. That's what I thought when I first met you. I'm like,
I haven't had that opportunity much this time.
Yeah.
No forums or no anything, which is fine, but we'll see how it goes.
That'll be good, man. KyleWoodman.com and Kyle@KyleWoodman.com. If you want to email him directly, that's how I get a hold of him too. So thank you very much, man, for the time. I know go spend some time with your family. Got a busy weekend coming up, and best of luck to you, man. And hopefully we'll get you back on here after you got a seat, and we'll talk about more stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Thank you. Thanks for the time, man.
Take care of yourself. We'll see you very soon, Kyle.
Yep.
There we go. Kyle Woodman. Vote on Tuesday, people. KyleWoodman.com. Go and check out his website. See what he's all about. Get the info. Get the 411. Educate yourself and then go out and vote. That is like the most important thing. It's super duper important to get out and vote. However you vote, just get out and make it heard. Then we got some comments to get to. I've been so enthralled with talking to Kyle. I know there's a lot of stuff happening. Joe's in the house. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? To see you as always. C-Dubs. C-Dub's giving a shout out from Malaysia to Kyle Woodman. Appreciate that. CB Drawer on the show. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of people, Joe, that are saying the same thing about the decisions that were made in Eau Claire County. And telling you, come on up to the falls, baby. We got it going on here. We got it going on. It's great. Nicole. Now people are going to other counties to enjoy mask-free life. It will, and I think it already has. And I guess I would leave that up to business owners in that county, and not just. I mean, this is across the spectrum of wherever you are, wherever you live. Even if you're not in Eau Claire County, Chippewa County, state of Wisconsin, if you're in wherever, it will be up to those business owners just to, instead of being silent, like, well, we got to try to appease everybody. Like, no, like, get out, man, get out, make the changes. Your voice counts too. Appreciate that, Joe. Go vote. It's free. Absolutely, 100%. Bloomer rocks, babe. Bloomer rocks. Love it up there. Good times in B-Town. Many a fun time in the sprawling metropolis of Bloomer. Many a fun night out there. Main Street Cafe, right, man? Main Street Cafe. That's still up. Donnie and the Geist over at the Main Street Cafe. Free shout out there. Maybe send me a pie. Or don't. It doesn't matter to me. I do have to give a shout out to my buddy Sven. My buddy Sven Erlinson from Badass Counseling. Send me that shirt. Carpe the fuck out of this DM. Seize the fuck out of this day. And that's what you should do. And that's what you should do on Tuesday. You should get out and vote. Thanks, Kyle, for being on the show today. Thank you all for tuning in, wherever you're watching. I think we're still up on Facebook. I think they didn't shut us down. That's shocking. I'll go a twofer today, or a twofer this week, and get shut down twice by Facebook, but we'll see. It really surprises me because I talk a lot of Facebook shit. I do. Whatever. YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. Joe's on the tube watching, keeping those views up. Appreciate that. And on Twitch, twitch.tv/No Limit Cooper, or if you have the Twitch app, No Limit Cooper, jump on there. And we may have to, now that I'm thinking about it, and it's in my craw a little bit, which I get people talk shit about me saying, "Why am stuck in your craw? Where are you from?" Wisconsin. But with the show on Monday, and I'll make this announcement here, Patreon fans, you already know this. We're only going to do the show on Monday on YouTube and Twitch. Just on YouTube and just on Twitch. So youtube.com/Cooperville Live. That's that. And Twitch, like I said, No Limit Cooper. If you have the Twitch app, which if you don't have it, go download it, and take a second to set up an account and follow No Limit Cooper. That helps us. But we're only going to do the show on Monday on YouTube and on Twitch. We got Derek Van Orden coming back on, and we got Dr. J on, exclusively going to be on YouTube and on Twitch on Monday. So mark that down. So when the show comes on, you're like, wait, I thought it was on. It's not. It's only going to be on YouTube and on Twitch, at least for Monday. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how we look, and make things happen. Joe's on the tube. Yes, sir. So Joe will know. Joe will be on here on YouTube. So follow along. And once again, we have that Patreon. Support the show. Keep us rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep it moving. Keep it growing. That's what we're trying to do. If we get kicked off of everywhere, we're gonna have to set up our own place, and that's gonna take some help from you and your support. And it's always appreciated. Supporting me, supporting the show, supporting our guests, because it's not just talking to guys like Kyle and Derek and Jonathan and Kyle Udes. And we talk to great people. We got musicians coming up next week. We're getting back into some band talk next week as well. So keep it going. Keep it going. Have you all a great weekend. Enjoy if you have time with friends and family over Easter. Get together. Hug your loved ones, man. Hug them all. Go give them a big old squeeze this weekend and enjoy some ham. I love ham so much. Like, I'm not even afraid to admit it. I run and I get the workout, I get the sweat in, but really just so I can have ham. So enjoy your weekend. Like, thoroughly enjoy it. Take all the moments, breathe it all in, have a great time, smile, laugh, have fun, have some cocktails, enjoy you, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, enjoy your loved ones. And we'll be back to crush it coming up on Monday. So until then, we'll see you soon. Have the best time. We'll catch you back here. Well, maybe not necessarily on Facebook, but we'll be on YouTube and Twitch exclusively coming up on Monday with Dr. J and Derek Van Orden. Until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another.